Summary: they say the climb is hard, but what if the hardest part is the voice inside your head? Ryan Holiday's ego is the enemy is not a warm hug, it's a cold splash of salt water. It takes you from the moment you first dare to dream, through the dizzying peak of success, and into the quiet humiliation of failure. The enemy everywhere is the same, your own bloated sense of self. Holiday walks you through the stories of generals who lost wars because they couldn't shut up, artists who ruined their art by believing their own hype, and leaders who saved nations precisely because they stayed small. The book doesn't ask you to kill your ambition, it asks you to purge the poison that makes ambition toxic. Name role: Ryan Holiday, the author and reluctant narrator, using his own rise and fall arc to warn readers about ego's 3 phases. John Boyd, the fighter pilot turned Pentagon strategist who chose impact over titles, proving that substance beats branding. Kirk Hammett, the guitarist who replaced Dave Mustaine in Metallica by staying a perpetual student instead of acting like a star. Jackie Robinson, the baseball legend who learned to restrain his anger so he could break the color barrier, turning self-control into power. Benjamin Franklin, the young printer whose embarrassing display of early pride taught him, and us, the danger of premature self-satisfaction. Genghis Khan, the conqueror who never stopped learning from enemies, showing that even at the top, humility is a weapon. Bill Walsh, the 49ers coach who resisted the urge to rewrite history, staying grounded by refusing to believe his own press. George C. Marshall, the World War II general who gave credit and grabbed blame, proving that selfless service is stronger than ego-driven ambition. Angela Merkel, the German chancellor who rules through quiet sobriety, demonstrating that power doesn't need to shout. Malcolm X, the imprisoned criminal who turned dead time into alive time, using forced stillness to reshape his identity. Mermaid Graph LR and 0, Ryan Holiday and 1, John Boyd, and 2, Kirk Hammett and 3, Jackie Robinson and 4, Benjamin Franklin and 5, Genghis Khan and 6, Bill Walsh and 7, George C. Marshall and 8, Angela Merkel and 9, Malcolm X and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 1 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 2 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 3 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 4 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 5 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 6 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 7 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 8 and 0. Author examines as cautionary model and 9 character A relation character B. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model John Boyd. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Kirk Hammett. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Jackie Robinson. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Benjamin Franklin. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Genghis Khan. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Bill Walsh. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model George C. Marshall. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Angela Merkel. Ryan Holiday. Author examines as cautionary model Malcolm X.
摘要 Before the first argument or anecdote, ego is the enemy opens with a chorus of voices, not the authors, but a dozen respected figures from coaching, screenwriting, entrepreneurship, and self-development. Each one steps forward to testify. Ego is the silent saboteur of talent, the rot beneath ambition. Stephen Pressfield calls it Holiday's best yet. Austin Kleon prescribes humility. George Irving wants every athlete and thinker to read it. Mark Echo warns that ego wrecks promising creative endeavors. Robert Greene frames it as the greatest obstacle to mastery and true success. Adam Grant flips the script. Confidence is earned by serving something bigger than yourself. The cover itself becomes a miniature trial. The accused is ego, the witnesses are credible, and the jury is about to hear the case. No story yet, but the stage is set. This is a book that promises to teach you how to get out of your own way. 分析
Summary before you even turn to the first chapter. A chorus of voices, basketball coaches, Olympic gold medalists, screenwriters, philosophers, and entrepreneurs, steps forward to warn you. The enemy you face is yourself. Stephen Pressfield calls Ryan Holiday one of his generation's finest thinkers, and declares this book his best yet. Austin Kleon offers a prescription: humility. George Raveling wants every athlete and leader to read it. Mark Echo warns that ego never ceases to amaze me how often it wrecks promising creative endeavors. Robert Greene frames ego as the greatest obstacle to mastery and true success. And then comes Chandra Crawford, an Olympic gold medalist who scribbled pre-gold obsessively in the margins. A reminder that the humility and work ethic needed before the victory are what make victory possible. The hook is clear. This book isn't a gentle suggestion. It's an urgent warning, delivered by people who have seen ego destroy talent firsthand. Summary tucked between the title page and the first chapter. This page offers a quiet, almost bureaucratic pause, a list of 3 previous books by Ryan Holiday. No narrative, no drama, just a bald enumeration. Growth hacker marketing. Trust me, I'm lying, the obstacle is the way. For a reader holding ego is the enemy, this is a backstage glance at the writer's workshop. It signals that the voice you are about to follow has already wrestled with persuasion, manipulation, and resilience. The list itself becomes a promise of accumulated insight, and with the final title, The Obstacle is the Way, it echoes the very theme of turning trials into triumphs that will soon be re-examined through the lens of ego. Analysis. Summary: this chapter is not a story, but a legal declaration. The copyright page of Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy. It identifies the publisher, Portfolio/Penguin, gives the copyright date, 2016, and thanks readers for buying an authorized edition. Yet hidden in this dry notice is a quiet argument. Copyright fuels creativity, encourages diverse voices, promotes free speech, and creates a vibrant culture. The page becomes a threshold, a reminder that before you read a single word, you have already entered a protected space where ideas are property and where the author asks you to honor the labor behind the pages. It ends with the publisher's plea. You are supporting writers and allowing Penguin to continue to publish books for every reader. The suspense? This is the front door. What will the book itself say about ego, ambition, and humility? Analysis. Summary: the epigraph opens the book with a quiet, almost subversive challenge from the poet Rainer Maria Rilke. It warns the reader, do not imagine that the person who comforts you lives a life free of trouble. His simple, gentle words that sometimes do you good were not born from peace, but from his own deep difficulty and sadness. His life, Rilke insists, remains far behind yours in hardship. Otherwise, he would never have found those words at all. This sets a stark, humbling stage for the entire inquiry into ego. The very source of wisdom is not victory, but struggle. Analysis: the epigraph immediately dismantles our romantic notion of the wise, untroubled sage. It's a brutally honest reminder that genuine insight, the kind that heals or guides, comes only from someone who has been broken in ways we cannot see. The poet's simple and quiet words are not cheap consolation. They are the residue of a hard, unseen fight. Summary: open the table of contents, and you're staring at a battle plan. Ryan Holiday's book is divided into 3 clear theaters: aspire, success, failure, and each section is punctuated by the same warning: ego is the enemy. The chapter titles read like terse commands: talk, 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 work, 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 become a student. Don't tell yourself a story. Right away you sense this isn't a gentle self-help book. It's a manual for staying grounded before, during, and after the climb. The structure itself creates a meta-narrative. The journey from striving to winning to losing is a single loop, and at every turn ego is waiting to undo you. Before you even start reading, the layout warns you. No matter where you are, the real battle is inside. Analysis. Summary: at 19, Ryan Holiday was the golden boy, college dropout, protege of powerful mentors, youngest executive at a Beverly Hills talent agency, strategist for American Apparel, best-selling author at 25, his face plastered on book covers, a TV show optioned about his life. Success came fast and thick. But the highlight reel, the floor sleeping, the parent disowning, the against all odds myth, was a lie. What he left out were the stomach-turning drops, the public evisceration that sent him to the ER, The day he walked into his boss's office ready to quit, the book signing with exactly one person in the audience, the company that tore itself apart twice. Then, in 2014, the people he had built his life around, his mentors, his idols, unraveled one by one. Bankruptcies, firings, relationships crumbling. And he wasn't exempt. Overworked, panicked, his fiancée walking out the door because he wasn't the person he used to be. The Wi-Fi went out, and he had a panic attack. Introduction. Summary: a young Athenian named Demonicus receives a letter from the revered teacher Isocrates, who urges him to cultivate modesty, self-control, and a distrust of flattery. 2 millennia later, Shakespeare echoes those same warnings in Hamlet, and the words find their way to a young U.S. Army officer named William Tecumseh Sherman. Orphaned early and raised by a senator, Sherman does not burst onto the scene like Napoleon. He grinds his way up, riding across the frontier, learning the land. When the Civil War erupts, he is promoted, but then he does something almost unheard of. He asks President Lincoln to guarantee he won't have to take superior command. He wants to be a number 2 because he knows he isn't ready. Yet he nearly destroys himself with paranoia and ranting in Kentucky, only to recover, swallow his pride, and voluntarily serve under Grant. Source: illustrations. Summary: in 1934, the activist and author Upton Sinclair gambled on an unconventional campaign for California governor. He published a short book titled I, Governor of California, and How I Ended Poverty, written in the past tense, describing the brilliant policies he had already enacted in an office he had not yet won. The book was a bestseller, but the campaign was a disaster. As a friend observed, Sinclair had already acted out the part in his vivid imagination, so why bother enacting it in real life? He lost by more than 250,000 votes. The trap is universal: talk and hype replace action. Today, every blank box on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn begs us to fill it with what we're going to do, how great things are, how hard we're working. Writer Emily Gould fell into the same pit during her 2-year struggle to finish a novel with a 6-figure deal. She spent her days on social media, blogging, curating, doing everything but writing.
摘要: At a critical crossroads in a young officer's career, the legendary fighter pilot and strategist John Boyd called him in for a private talk. "Tiger," Boyd said, "one day you will come to a fork in the road." With his hands he marked 2 directions, one LED to being somebody promotions, good assignments, but at the cost of compromise and betrayal of friends. The other LED to doing something for your country, your Air Force, yourself with no guarantee of recognition, but a clear conscience and the chance to make a difference. To be or to do? Boyd asked. That question, delivered again and again over decades, became a rite of passage for a generation of military leaders. Boyd himself lived the answer. He never rose above colonel, died in a small apartment, and is forgotten by history, yet his theories reshaped modern warfare. The chapter holds a mirror to every ambitious soul. Will you chase the glittering prizes, or stay true to a purpose larger than yourself? 分析.
Summary: on a single day in the early 1980s, Metallica fired their guitarist Dave Mustaine and, within hours, handed the job to a young player named Kirk Hammett. Most people in his position would have celebrated. Finally, the dream had arrived. But Kirk did something unexpected. Instead of basking in his newfound status, he realized he wasn't as good as he wanted to be. So he sought out a legendary teacher, Joe Satriani, and submitted himself to 2 years of weekly, brutally honest lessons. Satriani's rule was simple: if you don't learn the material, don't come back. Kirk endured the ego-bruising instruction, while his peers stormed out. The result? He became one of the greatest metal guitarists of all time, and the band went on to sell over 100 million albums. The chapter then expands into a broader lesson. True mastery demands that we always remain students, constantly seeking feedback, humbly putting ourselves beneath those who know more. Summary: a young man brimming with zeal storms into a room, ready to change the world. His pulse races, his vision blazes, yet he stumbles before he even begins. This is the trap Ryan Holiday exposes: the cult of passion, that intoxicating rush we've been told is our greatest asset. He contrasts this with the quiet discipline of Eleanor Roosevelt, who refused the label passionate because her engine ran on reason and purpose, not heat. He points to John Wooden's dispassionate coaching, 10 NCAA titles built on method, not rah-rah speeches, and to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the famously composed player who learned that emotions are a burden, not a fuel. Then he lines up the wreckage: the Iraq War true believers, the pilgrims of Into the Wild, the Segway hype machine, all driven by passion, all blind to reality. The warning is stark: passion masks weakness, breeds impatience, and substitutes busyness for progress. What we need instead is purpose with boundaries, realism with detachment. Summary: in ancient Rome, there was a role called antiambulo, literally, one who clears the path. The poet Martial held that job for years, traveling between rich patrons, running errands, paying respects, and receiving small tokens in return. And he hated every minute of it. He seethed with bitterness, convinced he was a slave to an unjust system, dreaming of the day he could own an estate and work in peace. But what he couldn't see was that his outsider's perspective gave him the sharpest insight into Roman society, insight that survives to this day. The chapter then pivots. What if, instead of fuming, Martial had embraced the opportunity? It introduces the canvas strategy, finding canvases for other people to paint on, clearing the path for those above you, so that you eventually create a path for yourself. Summary: before he became the first black player in Major League Baseball, Jackie Robinson was a hot-headed young man, arrested for fighting police, nearly court-martialed for challenging a bus driver, and known for a temper that could flash at any slur or injustice. Then Branch Rickey, the Brooklyn Dodgers manager, offered him a shot at history, but with one condition: I'm looking for a ball player with the guts not to fight back. Robinson accepted a brutal pact. From then on, he would have to swallow every racial taunt, every thrown spike aimed at his Achilles, every pitch fired at his ribs, without retaliation. He kept that promise for 9 years, never once hitting another player with his fist. The question the chapter leaves us with is not just how he did it, but why anyone would choose such a painful path. Analysis. Summary: Holiday introduces a shared affliction that haunts fictional characters like Holden Caulfield, the self-absorbed teenager unable to face adulthood; Arturo Bandini, the writer who experiences life only through a typewriter; and Binks Bolling, the young man who prefers movies to his own dull reality. These figures all suffer from the same trap: they cannot get out of their own heads. Then the chapter pivots to real life with General George McClellan, a gifted organizer who froze on the battlefield because he was too busy congratulating himself on imagined victories. While his enemies acted, he compiled perfect plans in his mind and did nothing. The chapter leaves us with a haunting question: how much more could these people have achieved if they had stepped into the messy, unpredictable present? And since we all carry a version of this flaw inside us, the suspense is personal. Will we make the same mistake? Summary: at 18, Benjamin Franklin, who had run away from Boston just 7 months earlier, strutted back into his hometown, flush with a new suit, a watch, and a pocket full of coins. He flashed at everyone, especially the older brother he desperately wanted to impress. But he was still just a boy working in a Philadelphia print shop. During a meeting with Cotton Mather, a revered town elder, Franklin's inflated ego got a literal knock. Walking down a hallway while preening, he failed to hear Mather's warning to stoop, and cracked his head against a low beam. Mather's wry retort, "Let this be a caution to you not always to hold your head so high," became a lifelong lesson. The chapter then expands this parable into a broader warning. Early pride, even after real accomplishments, is a fraud that dulls the mind, distorts reality, and sets us up for a fall, unless we kill it before it kills our potential. Analysis. Summary: the painter Edgar Degas, brilliant as he was with dancers on canvas, tried his hand at poetry and failed, not for lack of ideas, but for lack of work. When he confessed to the poet Mallarmé that he was full of ideas, yet couldn't write, Mallarmé cut to the bone. It's not with ideas that one makes verse. It's with words. That distinction, Holiday argues, is the line between a professional and a dilettante. Ideas are cheap. The real currency is labor. From Bill Clinton's nightly ritual of flipping through 10,000 index cards, long before he ever had a reason to Darwin's decades of silent research before publishing On the Origin of Species, the pattern is the same. Work, not brilliance, is what builds a life. The chapter grinds down the romantic fantasy of genius and leaves us with a harder, more honest question. Are we willing to sit down alone and struggle with work that may never be seen, praised, or validated? Analysis. Summary: Sherman, a model of quiet ambition, stands at a crossroads in the middle of his career, uncelebrated, unpaid, unvictorious. He could easily have asked himself the same question haunting every aspiring soul. If I stay humble, won't I end up irrelevant, trodden on? This is the moment before his country needs him most, and the very doubt that might break him is the crucible in which real leadership is forged. The chapter warns that ego tempts us to bridge the gap between our taste and our talent with bluster, shortcuts, and addiction. Lance Armstrong doping for the tour, Bonds walking into Balco. But Sherman chose otherwise. He faced his shortcomings honestly, put in the work, and became a leader not because he grasped at crutches, but because he said, I am going to be myself, the best version of that self. The suspense is whether we, too, will take that brutal, lonely road, or let ego betray the success we crave. Summary: when Howard Hughes Sr. collapsed and died of a heart attack at a business meeting in 1924, his 18-year-old son inherited a nearly $1 million tool company. The quiet, sheltered boy surprised everyone by buying out his relatives and seizing total control. It was a move of stunning foresight. But what follows is not a success story. Over the next decades, Hughes would use his father's steady profits to fund a deranged crime spree. He lost millions in the stock market, produced colossal film flops, built the Spruce Goose, a plane that flew exactly once for a mile, and ran his own studio into the ground. By the end, this mechanical genius, brilliant pilot, and visionary had wasted hundreds of millions, alienated everyone, and died naked in a white chair in an asylum of his own making. The question Holiday leaves us with: will you follow his trajectory? Analysis, source, illustrations. Summary: Genghis Khan is remembered as a bloodthirsty barbarian, but Ryan Holiday flips that legend on its head. The Mongol conqueror's true genius was his relentless hunger to learn. Every battle, every new culture brought a technology, a tactic, an idea he didn't have, and he took it. He borrowed the decimal system from Turkic tribes, mastered siege warfare from Chinese engineers, and absorbed the art of governance from Church scholars. His empire became a living laboratory of appropriation, fusing Chinese gunpowder with European metalwork to create the cannon. Holiday uses this historical reboot to issue a quiet challenge to the reader. When success makes you feel like you've graduated, you've already begun to die. The chapter ends with a warning that ego sings a soothing song, but the rocks are right there. Analysis. Summary: when Bill Walsh took over the San Francisco 49ers in 1979, they were the worst team in football, 2-1 for the year before, demoralized, broken, and stuck in a culture of losing. He almost quit midway through his second season. Yet, just 2 years later, he hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. The natural temptation would be to tell himself, and everyone else, that the quickest turnaround in NFL history had been his plan all along. But Walsh refused to buy his own press. His answer to anyone asking about a timetable for winning? No. Instead of chasing a grand narrative, he implemented a standard of performance. Minute details like how quarterbacks held the ball, that coaches wore ties and tucked in their shirts, that players gave maximum effort. He knew the score would take care of itself. The real hook? After that first win, the team got drunk on their own story, losing 12 of 22 games, until they returned, humbled, to the boring work that actually earned the victory. Summary: at the close of the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman stood as the twin saviors of the Union, rewarded with a grateful nation's blank check. Anything they wanted was theirs. Sherman, having mastered his ego, refused politics, declared he had all the rank he wanted, and retired to a contented life in New York. Grant, who had never shown political ambition, fell into the seduction of the presidency and into one of the most corrupt, ineffective administrations in American history. After 2 ruinous terms, he invested everything in a brokerage that turned out to be a Ponzi scheme, bankrupting him. Broken and dying of throat cancer, he raced to finish his memoirs to provide for his family, leaving us to wonder, what might he have achieved if he had known what truly mattered to him?
摘要 Xerxes 这位波斯皇帝为了惩罚阻碍他入侵希腊的河流，竟然对其施以鞭打和烙印，并命令士兵斥责河流。这一荒诞行为恰如其分地揭示了成功与权力带来的危险。Entitlement 有权认为自己理应得到的东西 ，control 控制欲和 paranoia 偏执。本书警告我们，过度自信和对自身力量的夸大，最终可能导致我们像 Xerxes 一样，沦为可笑的笑柄。正如 William Blake 所言，成功会蒙蔽我们的双眼，让我们迷失方向。分析，本章以 Xerxes 的荒谬举动开篇，引人深思。当权力与成功蒙蔽双眼时，我们是否会失去理智，将无辜的自然力量视为敌人？ Xerxes 的行为不仅仅是暴怒，更是一种对自身无能的掩饰，一种试图通过控制自然来证明自己至高无上可笑的尝试。Ty Warner 的 Beanie Babies 案例再次印证了这种危险。当成功带来的财富和名声让人飘飘然，我们很容易失去对现实的判断，最终走向失败。本章的警醒意义在于，它提醒我们，即使是那些看似合理的目标，也可能在 entitlement、control 和 paranoia 的驱动下走向极端。我们常常在追逐成功的过程中，忽略了那些帮助过我们的人，也忽略了自身的局限性。如果换作是我们，面对 Xerxes 般的困境，我们是否也会选择以暴制暴？或许我们更应该像 Franklin 那样，以冷静和理智来审视自身，避免重蹈覆辙。摘要1953年，艾森豪威尔总统上任后的第一个夜晚，被幕僚递交了2封机密信件，他毫不犹豫地拒绝，一句别把密封信封给我，这是我手下该做的事，展现了他的领导力。这看似微不足道的小事，实际上暴露了组织内部的混乱。艾森豪威尔意识到，并非所有事情都需要他亲自处理，他将重心放在了建立高效、有序的行政部门上，信任并授权下属。文章随后将艾森豪威尔的领导风格与汽车巨头德洛伦的失败案例进行对比，揭示了个人能力与组织管理之间的巨大鸿沟。德洛伦因其个人野心和缺乏组织能力，最终导致公司破产，留下了一笔巨额债务。文章警醒我们，即使拥有才华和创意，也必须学会管理自己和他人，否则终将失败。分析，艾森豪威尔的反应看似傲慢，实则体现了一种成熟的领导智慧。他明白，真正的领导力并非在于事必躬亲，而在于建立一个高效的团队，并信任他们完成任务。如果换作我们，或许也会被机密信件的特殊性所吸引，忍不住想要亲自了解情况。然而，艾森豪威尔的冷静和授权，却为整个政府机器的运转创造了更大的空间。德洛伦的失败，则是一面镜子，映照出个人野心与组织管理的冲突。他试图打破常规，却最终陷入了混乱和失控。这提醒我们，即使拥有再高的才华，也需要建立一套有效的管理体系，否则再伟大的梦想也难以实现。摘要：二战期间，无数英雄涌现，但乔治·马歇尔将军却显得格外不同。与其他将领忙于争夺功名、尔虞我诈时，马歇尔始终保持着谦逊低调的态度，默默地为国家奉献。他拒绝邀功，甚至婉拒了晋升和荣誉，将精力全部投入到战争的胜利中。然而，正是这种不求回报的精神，成就了他非凡的事业。他如同一个例外，打破了成功即意味着自我膨胀的魔咒，留下了令人深思的悬念：如何在功成名就后依然保持初心？分析，本章以乔治·马歇尔将军的案例，深刻剖析了自我的病态 （disease of me）。作者巧妙地将马歇尔与同时代的其他将领进行对比，凸显了马歇尔的独特之处。 他并非没有野心，而是将个人利益置于国家利益之上，将团队目标置于个人荣誉之上。这并非是天生的品质，而是一种经过长期磨练和自我约束的结果。Innocent climb 之后，团队或个人往往会陷入 disease of me 的泥潭，渴望名利，追逐自我满足。这是一种人性的弱点，也是通往失败的常见路径。马歇尔的例子提醒我们，真正的成功并非在于获得多少荣誉，而在于为集体做出贡献，并以谦逊的态度面对成功。正如教练帕特·瑞利所说，当团队开始追求个人利益时，衰败便在所难免。摘要 John Muir， 这位自然保护主义者和探险家，在1879年的阿拉斯加之旅中，经历了一场震撼人心的体验。面对壮丽的冰川湾，他仿佛与整个世界融为一体，感受到了生命循环的宏伟景象。那一刻，他的脉搏加速，他与同伴一同被带回了我们诞生的自然之源。这种与宇宙的连接，让他领悟到人类的渺小，也引发了他对自身、对人生意义的深刻思考。然而，物质成功、财富和权力往往会蒙蔽我们的双眼，让我们迷失在自我膨胀的幻象中。米尔的经历提醒我们，只有放下自我，才能真正体会到宇宙的浩瀚与生命的真谛。分析米尔在阿拉斯加的经历，不仅仅是一次简单的自然探索，更是一次精神的觉醒。他所感受到的 sympathy， 那种与宇宙的连接感，是 Stoics 哲学所推崇的境界，也是 Pierre Haddad 所描述的 oceanic feeling。换句话说，它是一种超越个体意识，融入更广阔存在的体验。这种体验让人意识到，我们只是宇宙中微不足道的一部分，却也因此更加深刻地理解了自身的价值和意义。在当今社会，我们常常被物质欲望和成功压力所裹挟，迷失在追逐名利的道路上。米尔的故事提醒我们，偶尔停下脚步，去感受自然，去体会历史的厚重，去与更广阔的世界建立连接，才能找回内心的平静与方向。正如米尔所经历的那样，当我们真正意识到自身的渺小，才能更加深刻地理解生命的意义，并从中获得力量。摘要：在一次游泳课上，年轻的安格拉·默克尔站在跳板上，迟迟未下水，最终在铃声敲响时才跳入水中。这个小小的举动预示着他日后在领导力上的独特之处：冷静、谨慎，而非冲动。本书探讨了清醒的重要性，以默克尔为榜样，指出在权力、名誉和自我膨胀的诱惑下，保持清醒才能真正实现长久的成功和影响力。他如同乌龟般稳扎稳打，最终成就非凡。这不禁让人好奇，在快节奏、追求高光的时代，我们如何才能像默克尔一样，保持内心的平静与清醒？分析：默克尔的领导风格与我们常认为的成功模式截然不同。他不追求华丽的辞藻，不热衷于扩张，而是以一种近乎朴素的方式，在复杂的国际局势中展现出强大的力量。这种清醒并非冷漠，而是一种对自身能力和局势的深刻理解，一种对自我的克制。换句话说，默克尔的成功并非源于一时的激情或爆发，而是源于长期的沉淀和内省。默克尔的故事提醒我们，成功的定义并非总是与高调和张扬画等号。相反，真正的力量往往隐藏在内敛和冷静之中。他对自身力量的认知，以及对帝国化的警惕，都体现了他对权力的深刻理解。正如马克思·奥雷利斯所说，要成为哲学试图塑造你的那个人，默克尔的清醒正是他保持自我、抵御权力腐蚀的关键。摘要： Alexander the Great, a conqueror of the known world, ultimately met a tragic end, a consequence, the author argues, of failing to heed Aristotle's crucial lesson, the pursuit of virtue lies in finding the golden mean. Having reached the pinnacle of success, one might expect ease, but instead, the challenge lies in managing oneself to maintain that success. The chapter warns against the dangers of unchecked ambition and complacency, drawing parallels with Napoleon and Howard Hughes, both men whose lives, despite outward appearances of grandeur, were marked by profound unhappiness. The looming question remains, can we avoid their fate and prepare for the inevitable downturns that life throws our way? 分析摘要 Catherine Graham, a woman accustomed to privilege and a life of ease, finds herself thrust into the tumultuous world of newspaper management after her husband's tragic suicide. Inheriting the Washington Post, she navigates the minefield of financial instability, a hostile board, and a series of escalating crises from leaked government documents to a printer's strike and threats from the Nixon administration. Despite facing seemingly insurmountable odds, Graham's perseverance and unexpected resilience ultimately lead to remarkable success, transforming the Post into a media powerhouse. Yet, the chapter leaves us pondering how much of our carefully laid plans are destined to be shattered, and what inner fortitude is required to rise from the ashes. 分析 Source Illustrations 摘要 Malcolm X， 一个曾经的犯罪分子 Detroit Red， 因非法活动锒铛入狱。面对漫长的刑期，他本可以重蹈覆辙，继续在监狱中策划犯罪，但最终他选择了另一种道路 ，a lifetime。他利用这段时间学习、阅读，将监狱变成了自己的大学，彻底改变了自己的人生轨迹。故事留下了悬念，面对困境，我们是选择沉沦，还是抓住机会，实现自我蜕变？分析本章以 Malcolm X 的经历为引，探讨了 a lifetime 与 dead time 的哲学概念。面对困境，我们很容易陷入自怨自艾，沉溺于愤怒和抱怨。但真正的智慧在于将逆境转化为机遇，像 Malcolm X 一样，利用这段时间进行自我提升和学习。这不仅仅是关于时间管理，更是关于心态和选择。如果换作我们，面对同样的处境，是否能像 Malcolm X 一样，拥有如此强大的内心和决心？ Malcolm X 的故事令人揪心，也令人振奋。他从一个犯罪分子蜕变为一位伟大的思想家和领袖，这证明了人性的可塑性和改变的可能性。他用自己的行动告诉我们，即使身处逆境，只要我们愿意学习、反思和成长，就能找到属于自己的 a lifetime， 创造出属于自己的价值。摘要 Belisarius， 一位被历史遗忘的伟大将军，在罗马帝国衰落之际，3次拯救了西方文明。他屡建奇功，却屡遭皇帝猜忌，最终落得被剥夺财富、失明乞讨的悲惨境地。然而，他从未抱怨，始终坚守本分，认为做好自己的工作就是最大的满足。这启示我们，无论付出多少努力，结果可能并不如人意，但重要的是专注于过程，而非结果，将自我价值建立在行动本身，而非外界的认可之上。正如 Alexander 面对 Diogenes 时，后者只求别挡我的阳光，这句看似简单的请求，却道出了对外界评价的超脱。分析 Belisarius 的故事不仅仅是一个历史人物的传记，更是一面镜子，映照出我们每个人在追求目标时可能面临的困境。我们常常希望自己的努力得到认可，渴望被世界看见，但现实往往是残酷的，付出与回报不成正比，甚至会遭遇不公正的待遇。如果换作我们，面对 Belisarius 的遭遇，或许会难以释怀，充满怨恨。然而 Belisarius 的平静与坚守，却是一种更高境界的智慧。他明白，我们无法控制外部世界，只能控制自己的行动。他将自我价值定义在做好自己的工作上，而非依赖外界的评价，这是一种令人敬佩的自我救赎。正如 John Wooden 所言，真正的成功在于内心的平静与自我满足。Belisarius 的故事提醒我们，不要将幸福建立在外界的认可之上，而应专注于过程，享受努力本身带来的快乐。这不仅是一种积极的生活态度，更是一种强大的精神力量，让我们在面对挫折时能够保持乐观，继续前行。摘要 Jack， 一个身患失眠症的现代人，生活在无聊和空虚中。为了逃避现实，他沉迷于购物和物质，却始终无法填补内心的空虚。直到他的人生被彻底摧毁，他的公寓被炸毁，所有的财产化为乌有。这场突如其来的灾难并非偶然， 而是他自己 Tyler Durden 人格策划的阴谋，旨在打破他安逸却痛苦的现状，将他推入一个充满黑暗和刺激的全新生活。这是否是通往自我救赎的必经之路？又或者，这会把他带向更深的不归？分析：本章以一系列名人遭遇人生低谷的例子开篇，迅速将读者带入对 Fight Club Moments 的思考。那些看似毁灭性的时刻，往往是个人成长和转变的关键。Rowling 的困顿、Parker 的羞辱、Johnson 的挫败，都如同一面面镜子，映照出每个人都可能面临的困境。这些经历如同 Catabasis， 迫使人们直面内心的阴影，从而获得更深刻的认知和力量。Fight Club 中 Jack 的经历，则将这种去壳的过程戏剧化的展现。他被炸毁的公寓，象征着他过去生活和价值观的彻底瓦解。这种毁灭性的冲击虽然痛苦，却也为他打开了一扇通往自我发现的大门。正如 Emile Zola 所言，被埋葬的真相终将爆发，带来毁灭性的力量。Duris dura frangantur， 这句拉丁格言精辟地揭示了硬物破硬物的道理。自我救赎往往需要经历痛苦的磨难，而那些拥有强大自我的人才能在逆境中涅槃重生。然而，正如 Hemingway 所写 The world breaks everyone， 只有那些 at the broken places 变得坚强的人，才能真正活出自我。摘要 John DeLorean， 这位曾经风光无限的汽车大亨，却以令人唏嘘的方式走向了衰败。当他的公司陷入困境，负面消息不断时，他没有选择坦然面对，而是试图通过非法手段贩卖毒品来挽救局面。最终，他锒铛入狱，一幕幕丑闻也暴露无遗。更令人扼腕的是，他本可以避免这一切，但自负与贪婪让他不断深陷泥潭，最终走向自我毁灭。这不禁让人思考，面对失败时，我们是否能像 Steve Jobs 一样，从中汲取教训，重新出发，而不是一味的逃避和挣扎。分析：本章以 John DeLorean 的悲惨遭遇为引，深刻剖析了自我与事业紧密相连时 ego 自我可能带来的毁灭性后果。DeLorean 的例子警醒我们，当事业失败时，将自我价值与工作结果绑定，会引发对失败的恐惧，进而导致不理智的行为。这种恐惧驱使我们不断投入，试图挽回局面，却往往事与愿违，最终将自己推向更深的绝境。正如原文所言，如果 DeLorean 能够坦然面对失败，并从中吸取教训，或许一切都不会发生。Steve Jobs 的经历则提供了一种不同的视角。尽管他也曾被 Apple 解雇，但他并没有沉溺于失败，而是将其视为一次宝贵的学习机会，最终成就了 Pixar 的辉煌。这提醒我们，失败并非终点，而是一个重新开始的机会，关键在于我们如何看待它，以及如何从中汲取力量。摘要：新英格兰爱国者队在2000年选秀中以第6轮199th 顺位选中了汤姆·布拉迪，这被认为是 NFL 历史上回报率最高的选秀。然而，爱国者队在获得巨大成功后，也深刻反思了他们的选秀评估过程，意识到他们对布拉迪的潜力存在严重的误判。当他们的首发4分卫布莱斯多因伤离场，布拉迪才真正展现出他的价值。爱国者队并没有沉浸在成功中，而是专注于找出评估失误的原因，并不断追求进步。他们将赢视为一个起点，而非终点，并以更高的标准衡量自身。这提醒我们，真正的成功并非仅仅是结果，更在于持续的自我反省和改进。分析：本章通过爱国者队选拔汤姆·布拉迪的故事，深刻探讨了自我评分卡的重要性。爱国者队在取得巨大成功后，并没有自满，而是反思自身评估上的失误。这种行为本身就蕴含着一种超越凡俗的智慧。这让我们不禁思考，如果换作是我们，面对如此巨大的成功，是否会沉溺于荣耀，而忽略了自我提升？爱国者队的做法提醒我们，真正的成功并非是最终的结果，而是一个持续改进的过程。这种持续反省的痛苦，或许会让人感到自我折磨，但它却能驱动我们不断前进，不断突破自我。正如故事中提到的， 自我评分卡，即以自身潜力为标准，而非社会定义的成功，才能让我们在遭遇挫折时保持韧性，并避免被外界的评价所左右。摘要：1939年，年轻的天才导演奥逊·威尔斯获得了史无前例的合约，可以为 RKO 影业拍摄2部他选择的影片。他选择拍摄一部关于媒体大亨威廉·赫斯特的电影，却引来赫斯特的强烈反击。他竭尽全力试图摧毁这部电影。然而，赫斯特的行动不仅未能阻止影片的诞生，反而让他声名鹊起，成就了赫斯特自身的不佳名声。这究竟是一种怎样的讽刺？赫斯特为何会如此执着地攻击一部虚构的电影？故事揭示了仇恨和苦涩的悖论，试图通过仇恨来摧毁某物，往往会适得其反，反而使其更加持久。这不禁让人思考，我们是否也曾因自我保护而浪费了宝贵的时间，最终却适得其反？分析这段文字以奥逊、威尔斯和威廉·赫斯特的这场闹剧为引，深刻探讨了仇恨与自我毁灭之间的关系。赫斯特的反应看似是为了维护自己的名誉，实则暴露了他对权力、控制和自我保护的病态执着。他将原本可以成为艺术作品的赞誉，变成了自我毁灭的催化剂。这让人不禁联想到，当我们在意图保护自己的形象时，是否也陷入了自我囚禁的陷阱？赫斯特的例子警醒我们，仇恨不仅无法解决问题，反而会加剧问题，最终将矛头指向自身。正如奥逊·威尔斯所说，赫斯特的行动反而巩固了他作为令人憎恨的美国人物的形象。这是一种令人唏嘘的悲剧，也提醒我们，爱与宽恕才是更有效的应对方式。
Summary: The chapter paints a picture of individuals facing immense pressure and adversity. Winston Churchill standing alone against a rising tide, Katharine Graham navigating a crumbling media empire, and Donald Graham battling industry decline. It's a stark reminder that success isn't a straight line, but a cyclical journey punctuated by difficulty and failure. The author posits that these moments, however painful, can be transformative, offering a path to wisdom if approached with humility. But there's a lurking danger: ego. It's the silent saboteur, capable of turning temporary setbacks into permanent defeats. The chapter ends with a crucial directive. To navigate the future, we must shed ego and embrace self-awareness.
摘要：在人生的旅途中，我们都在与自身内心的自我进行着一场无休止的斗争。本书的作者坦诚地分享了自己与自我抗争的经历，并对那些在事业上取得成功却最终迷失自我的案例进行了反思。他曾害怕读者无法坚持读完，而如今他终于走到了尾声。读完本书，你是否感到疲惫、困惑，又或是获得了某种解脱？作者提醒我们，对抗自我并非易事，但只要迈出第一步，就能对它造成打击。他借用丹尼尔·伯莱利的比喻，将对抗自我的过程比作每日清扫地板，因为尘埃会不断积聚。最终，作者以多夫·查尼的悲剧故事和自己对书香门第的感悟，警醒我们，对抗自我是一场终身战役，而我们每个人都可能面临同样的命运。分析这篇尾声更像是一场深刻的自我审视和对人生哲理的总结。作者以坦诚的笔触，揭示了我们每个人内心深处都存在着一场南北灵魂的冲突，这种冲突既是普遍的，也是深刻的。他将对抗自我的过程比作清扫地板，这不仅是一种隐喻，更是一种对持续性努力的强调。我们很容易在短暂的成功后沾沾自喜，却忽略了自我的不断积聚，最终走向迷途。多夫·查尼的遭遇令人唏嘘，他因失败而将自身价值与事业成就划等号，最终走向自我毁灭。这不禁让我们反思，我们是否也曾将成功与自我价值紧密相连？那一刻，我们是否也曾像多夫一样，将失败视为死亡？作者的自省让我们意识到，我们每个人都可能面临同样的困境，而自我的膨胀就像一种潜伏的疾病，会慢慢侵蚀我们的内心。作者在书中分享了自己将草稿撕毁并喂给蚯蚓堆的独特方法，这是一种象征性的行为，代 代表着对过去的放手和对新生的希望。它提醒我们，我们的生命如同大自然的一部分，最终会回归尘土。这是一种对生命短暂性的深刻认知。
Summary: Ryan Holiday, a devoted reader. Initially intended to include a comprehensive bibliography within Ego is the Enemy, detailing the books and sources that informed his study. However, the list proved too extensive to fit within the book's pages. Instead, he's offering this curated guide directly to his readers via email, providing clickable and searchable links alongside his personal insights and recommendations. He also invites readers to subscribe to his monthly email newsletter, promising a curated list of his favorite books, beginning with 10 all-time classics. The chapter ends with a tantalizing offer, a deeper dive into Holiday's intellectual journey, accessible only through a simple email request.
摘要: This chapter serves as a sprawling bibliography, a testament to Ryan Holiday's intellectual influences and the breadth of research underpinning his work. It's a curated collection of thinkers and figures from ancient philosophers like Aristotle and Marcus Aurelius to modern titans like John Dee, Rockefeller and Howard Hughes, all offering lessons in stoicism, leadership, resilience, and the pursuit of excellence. The list sprawls across disciplines, encompassing military strategy, biography, creative process, and even MMA fighting. The sheer volume of names and words hints at a relentless quest for wisdom, but the finality of the list, a simple selected bibliography, leaves the reader wondering what other voices and perspectives remain unacknowledged, and what insights might still be unearthed. 分析摘要 Ryan Holiday 在《自我意识的敌人》一书的结语部分，以一种谦逊而真诚的方式，向所有帮助他完成这本书的人们表达了深深的谢意。他强调，这本书的任何有价值的见解都源于其他作者和思想家的智慧，而非他自己。他感谢了编辑、顾问、家人、经纪人，以及在写作过程中给予他支持和指导的人们。甚至连他的宠物山羊也得到了感谢。这不仅仅是一份简单的感谢名单，更是一种对知识传承和集体智慧的尊重，也暗示着他对于自身贡献的谨慎评估。Analysis: This chapter serves as a poignant coda to Holiday's exploration of ego. It's a refreshing departure from the assertive tone that permeates much of the book, revealing a humility that ironically underscores the very lessons he imparts. The sheer length of the acknowledgments speaks to the collaborative nature of writing and the recognition that no author exists in a vacuum. It's a moment of vulnerability, a quiet admission that even the most confident voices stand on the shoulders of giants. The inclusion of Workaholics Anonymous highlights a personal struggle and a reliance on external support, further humanizing the author. It's almost as if Holiday is preemptively deflecting praise, ensuring that credit is given where it's due. Source illustrations.
What is the central argument of ego is the enemy regarding ambition and ego? The book argues that ego, an inflated sense of self, is the primary obstacle at every stage of life: aspiration, success, and failure. It does not call for eliminating ambition, but for purging the toxic elements that make ambition destructive. Holiday uses historical examples to show that unchecked E. What lesson does the story of Upton Sinclair's 1934 campaign for California governor illustrate? Sinclair prematurely announced his plans in a book titled I, Governor of California, which allowed opponents to attack his ideas before he had a chance to implement them. Holiday uses this to warn against talking too much about one's ambitions. The lesson is that sharing goals too early can invite. What does the canvas strategy symbolize in the book? The canvas strategy is drawn from the Roman role of antiambulo, one who clears the path. It symbolizes the practice of making others look good and taking on subordinate roles without seeking credit. Holiday argues that this humble approach is powerful because it builds alliances, teaches humility. Why might the chapter "Don't be passionate" be controversial? The chapter challenges the modern glorification of passion, arguing that blind enthusiasm often leads to rash decisions, burnout, and a lack of discipline. Instead, Holiday advocates for calm, deliberate purpose over fiery passion. This can be controversial because passion is widely seen as a key DR. How does the concept of alive time or dead time from Malcolm X's imprisonment reinterpret failure? Holiday contrasts alive time, actively using adversity for growth, with dead time, passively suffering or wasting the opportunity. Malcolm X transformed his prison sentence into a university by reading and learning, turning forced isolation into self-education. This reframes failure not as an envy,